Well, hello. If I look unusually low down, it's because there are no seats in the car still. Um, it's largely dried out now. I've had the big dehumidifier in here for 2 good long stints. It's pretty dry in here, so ready to put the new seats in. But first, I could really do to find the wiring for the heated seats, at least the seat end, and ideally find the switch end as well, which I'm going to have to reroute and rewire anyway. But that all apparently sits under the center console, so that's going to come out and dig around in there. And at the same time, I want to get some other bits out of my cellar where they've been for months and into the car, namely the subwoofer that I restored. You'll have seen on a previous episode, which if I'm clever, I'll put a link to up here somewhere. And some roll hoops that I bought, I don't know, 2 years ago, that I really like the look of, but I've never got round to actually installing. So I've got the roll hoops, I've got the mounts. What I don't have is the trim pieces that go around them. So that's going to require some cutting and sawing and probably some 3D printed trim pieces to go with those as well. I also have a replacement center console, which is very much a work in progress, and I'm probably not going to put that in at the moment. Let me show you. So I'll grab some footage of the actual thing in progress, but to be honest, I think I've made a mess of the one I'm making. What I want to do is I want to put the hazard switch up here. I don't like having this accessory port here. It just means wires are dangling around in the way. I'll probably tuck a new one down into the footwell down here somewhere. That means I want to move the hazard switch up to here. Much more useful place for it, because you sometimes do use your hazards for signalling. It's nice to be able to just push a button there. And I want to integrate my my wireless charging. I don't know where the other bit of plastic for it's gone. There we go. I want to integrate my wireless charging piece into the center console itself. What I tried to do was just sort of cut this out and then sink this in and use filler to smooth it all. Yeah, and it's not working brilliantly. I may finish it with that approach. What I might do instead is actually just make a cleaner cut here and cleaner cuts here, and then just drop the whole 3D printed piece in, make it exactly the right width, the same width as this and the same shape, and then just drop the whole 3D printed piece in and just try and sort of neaten up the joins. I think that's probably going to look better than my my poor painting and filling and sanding ability, which is fine at car scale, but is not good enough for interior scale. In the meantime though, first job work is to get some of this undone and work out how I'm going to integrate the subwoofer into a piece of trim that's not designed to accommodate the subwoofer, and roll hoops into pieces of trim that aren't designed to accommodate the roll hoops. With that out of the way, maybe actually I can probably get the center console out without taking all that out, but it all needs to come out anyway, so I might as well do the whole job and just do a bit of a dismantling job before I have to do the job of dad taxi, which is what Saturdays are mostly taken up with, and it's a Saturday for me today. Right, much dismantling done. The center console's not quite out, but it is loose. I've just got to disconnect some cables at this end and it should come away. I've got one of the caps off. You can see that the some of the roll hoop mounting is actually built into the frame. It feels like it's very close to the hood, so I have to test it out and make sure it all fits all right. On here, some sort of bracket bolts in. I've got a bracket to go in, which I'll bring out and test. We need to get the brackets in for the subwoofer and get the other cap off. It's a bit awkward because it's pouring with rain, so I'm keeping things going inside the car and trying not to get too wet in the process. It's an absolute mess in here, but yeah, getting there. It does mean the car's going to be off the road for a little bit longer, but might as well get it all done in one go. The only question is I've taken out my stereo. My ideal replacement is a big touchscreen jobby, and I'm trying to decide whether I whether I go and spend the money to get that in while I'm at it, having just committed to spending a lot of money on the new wheels and having just spent some unexpected money on the seats because they came up cheap. So yeah, do I spend even more money getting the stereo sorted? Yeah, we shall see. So I had to put the roof down in order to get these temporarily in. in a brief break in the rain. That does mean I've triggered the airbag light because the seats aren't in and connected, which I'll have to reset, but that's all right. Unfortunately, it looks like you have to take these out as well in order to fit these, the dirty grate brackets, which I will clean up, that sit here. They sort of sit down this lip and bolt in here. How many bolts are there? Oh, there's 3. So I'm also going to have to take this carpet out, which is fine because once you've taken these out, the carpet peels away. I've taken the middle thing out. So yeah, I mean, this has all ended up being a little bit more involved than I intended. I thought it might be quite straightforward, but what do I know? Clearly, absolutely nothing. So the good news is I don't have to take this all the way out. I've just loosened it and I can withdraw the carpet and get to the bolt holes there, which is great. That saves a bit of time. Also had to take a bracket out of here, this one, so that things will fit. I'm going to have to take the roof down again in order to slot it all back together. But first I need to sort out the trim piece. Fortunately, if you withdraw the, I don't know, sound deadening, whatever it is, polystyrene from inside, you can see precisely where the thing's meant to come up. It looks like it's, I don't know, maybe clipped in, maybe welded in. After a little bit of experimentation to see about getting that out, I may just have to drill it. But either way, I can tidy the hole up with a neat little bit of little ring of plastic or something. Should be good. I don't think that could have gone any better, really. Pretty neat holes with just a normal hole saw. I had the one a saw which was almost exactly the right size. I tried putting masking tape over the top, the masking tape just ripped off, so I did it without in the end. And yeah, they barely need any tidying up, to be honest. I might put a bit of trim on, but they'll do for now. This is always going to be iterative, and with a bit of luck, once all the brackets are in, actually just taking the actual hoops out of there for a bit of tweaking shouldn't be too difficult with the roof down. Hard to video this because it's all a bit squished in here now, but center console is out, which means I can do all the digging around and routing I need to do for wires. First of all, finding the heated seat wires. Secondly, adding in my 5-volt power supply for my embedded wireless charger. Thirdly, either finding or routing wiring for subwoofer before I start to put everything back together again. I don't have my revised center console fully finished yet, but given where I've got to, I might as well have a bash at it and at least get a version of it installed. Bit of work needed here and there to get it right. I've got a nearly finished or a good enough replacement for this, which has got the dual DIN space in it. The awkward bit is the heater cables here, which restrict the location of this. These 3 Bowden cables basically don't have quite enough freedom in them to bring this thing to where I want it to be. So I do have some spares. I might have to look into extending those. We shall see. There's no adjustability in them, at least not at this end. So yeah, a bit of digging around required maybe. I've got a replacement one of these which has already got a pot swapped in for one of these. I can get rid of some of these cables. I can't remember which ones. I think it's, yeah, I can't remember. I've got a pot swapped in one of them, which takes the standard knob. So yeah, a bit of swapping out to do, and then see whether I've got enough extension in the cables to make it all fit. And then yeah, maybe I have to buy my replacement stereo. Need a new gear knob as well, and my other one's falling off. Yes, sorry, missed opportunity, my knob is falling off. Out in my very windy, and the wind's coming from outside, not from me, gazebo, you can see my custom center console. I'm really not happy with it. I think this might have to do as a first draft, as me putting my finger in wet paint. I just don't think I've got the capability to make this smooth enough, but I might give it a good clean up, a couple of coats of satin black, and just let this one, use this one for now, and then use the one that I've just taken out to make a better job of a replacement. It's pretty terrible. I don't know how much you can tell, but it's really not smooth or even. Bits of it are okay, bits of it are terrible. So I think I can do a better job here. Also gonna have to drill a hole so I can get to one of the mounting holes, actually, I've just realised. So yeah, it's not brilliant, but it'll do. So I'll probably take a break from dismantlery, which I've a new word I've created today. Finish getting this cleaned up and resprayed in a nice black. Same with this piece. This one I got cheap, it's slightly cracked there, so I've glued it back together. Just needs, again, a coat of satin black, and then these bits can go in. This one's been modified up here as well to take my double din unit. Yeah, but actually, I think it actually looks pretty decent with the satin black. It's not a great finish yet, obviously it's just a bit of a test spray. So I'll give it all a proper clean up, a few coats, sand it down again, maybe clean up some of the filler here, really terrible, and get that installed. A few little things before I stick stuff in the car. I've now sealed the new driver into the subwoofer with some construction silicone, which I happen to have lying around. I've had this for freaking years. Thankfully it's still, I think I bought it in Aldi or Lidl for about £1. Thankfully it's still soft. So that's all nicely sealed. The wires are sealed in there. I've just put some long lengths on for now. I don't know exactly how I'm going to wire it up to the amplifier. What else is over here, because it's all a bit of a mess? That is the controller for the heating, for the Outlander heater. Unfortunately I can't quite get the other side of this connector on, so I might have to do something clever there. We just cut it back a bit. But that's ready to go. What else is over here? This is a Canbridge, Jamie Jones's board that I've 3D printed a case for, and I need to put the connectors on that. I'm going to separate my the CAN bus loop that goes around my engine bay from the one that goes inside the car, and stick a bridge between them just to sort out some issues with resistance. And then all the way over the other side of my very messy office, amplifier now fully wired up and ready to go in. No, it's not completely sealed and watertight and everything else, but it'll do. So I've got 2 inputs, 4 outputs, power lines and a remote switch, and this will all tuck away, I think, behind the stereo somewhere, and will drive the subwoofer, unless there's an existing driver for that, but I don't think there is. So these are the heated seat controller switches. I'm probably going to fit, long run, the switches up the back here, but I'll leave them there for now. I'll have to do some working out, because I'm not using the original switches, because they're freaking expensive. They're like 50 quid each, second hand. So unless I can find some really cheap, I'm going to have to work out how to deep-in that and use the connectors. But this does mean that I can get my seats back in now that I know where the seats are. As you can see, there's moisture getting in. I've had a dehumidifier in here. Every time I kneel down in here, I'm getting wet, and there's a fair bit of corrosion under the carpet. So I need to work out where moisture's getting in, which is frustrating. Nonetheless, roll hoops in. They just need these screws fixing in to tighten them up. Time to test fit the subwoofer, and then I think I'm going to put everything back together for now and get it drivable again. I'm not going to install the double din head unit or the custom center console for now, because it's not finished and I want to get the car back on the road. There we go, subwoofer in, albeit temporarily. I'm going to run these wires down to here, and then they're a bit more accessible, and I don't have to take all the back apart. I don't have any way to cap the the rear trim on this side. Obviously sorted this side, but not this side. So I'm going to get everything screwed down, get all the trim back on, and start reassembling things, and then get the seats back in with a bit of luck, or get the seats in, since it'll be the first time they've been in. Come across a slight problem in reassembly. Obviously with my not official trim for the roll hoops, I can't access those screws to lock the roll hoop in place from here. So I'm going to have to drill some extra holes and make some extra trims to do that, and placing those holes I don't think it's going to be that easy, unless, like the main one, BMW kindly marked them out for me. They did not. Not quite finished, but that's going to have to wrap it up for now. Seats are back in temporarily, or rather seats are in temporarily. I think they look great. Need to swap out the door cards now, and actually the lock barrel as well for that door. It's a future job. Still want to change the steering wheel, get rid of the BMW logo, refit the stereo, and wire in the amplifier for the sub. The sub's got no cover on it at the moment. I need to design and make some stuff for those. Probably a bit of MDF covered in something for the top. See if I can get something to match this trim, maybe reuse the trim piece from the top and find a way to repair it. It's quite cracked inside. Cut the holes and find a way to mount it semi-invisibly. I think I've got a new plan for the phone charger, which will neaten things up, allow me to move the hazard warning lights switch and hide all the cables for the Bluetooth connection for now, until I can get my double DIN head unit in. But that's all for a future episode. So that's it for this one. Thanks for watching. As usual, please like and subscribe. Hope it wasn't too rambly and a bit too non-EV focused for you. But if you like this stuff, you want to see this car, you know, I don't know about finished, but close to one day, then yeah, like and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks a lot. Bye bye.